Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and I am back with another reaction to The Runaways. We are on season 1, episode 6, which is called Metamorphosis. So, well, that title is pretty, as usual, it's a little bit broad in what it could potentially mean, but we've got a couple of things happening as far as people changing from one thing to another in this show, and that's what metamorphosis is typically referring to, is when you start out as something and you end up as something else. We're definitely seeing that for the kids, that their parents are going through a metamorphosis, and that while obviously, as I mentioned before, not all of these kids had great relationships with their parents, I think there was still a level of hero worship going on with all of them. And with this revelation that they are potentially hurting and doing God knows what else to young kids, these kids are seeing a metamorphosis of these heroes turning into villains and potentially very bad people. And as far as a quick recap, we had the revelation of Victor having cancer to his son. And so we're probably going to see Chase struggling with a couple of things this episode as far as how to feel about that and how he wants to proceed with the expose on the pride. So without any further ado, why don't we get into this episode, then we'll have a little chit chat afterwards. Okay? Boop.
I thought you'd have more of an appreciation for its unique features.
And more gratitude for
this is just creepy.
I'm giving it to you.
You're giving us 3/4 of an acre in Brentwood.
Why?
Mom's eyes like, excuse me?
Hell for. You're gonna be doing things you don't want your neighbors to hear.
Okay, my black friends, this should have been your warning to get out. Like literally, like the movie, get out.
It's kind of itchy, right?
It feels like the first dress rehearsal of a bad play that nobody wants
Cheap
to
robes at that. Molly's parents.
Reminds me of an
These guys like, what kind of freaky deaky sex orgy circle did you get us into?
The pure conversion of matter to energy in a form that can be absorbed by the human body. The
So you
math
killed
has
it.
existed for a while, but no one's actually done it until now.
What do you mean this energy's been converted?
Exactly. He did.
It isn't a death.
Bruh.
The tape simultaneously uploaded to the wizard's server. And that's where it's going to stay.
Tina's been evil since day one, y'all.
So we're just trapped.
Yep.
Made a deal with the devil.
And the devil will have his due.
Y'all should always look that gift horse right in the mouth.
You like my tux or don't you?
Well, it's better than that metal face mask, Dr. Doom.
What's the right way to meet my daughter?
How about never? Okay, creeps? All right. It's your boyfriend.
You are helping me hack into the wizard server at the Pride Gala tonight.
Can't wait.
You've been right about everything, Nico.
See you soon.
Great first date.
Mom. Still haven't told me where it came from. We made it in the wizard labs with some very special technology.
It was made, okay.
Sometimes it takes more than one trip to the crater.
I think I might be done with that. Like maybe I was chasing something that isn't mine.
Or you're sane.
Me. We can put the fun in fundraiser tonight, okay? And you can totally use that joke.
I won't.
The cougar parked inside.
Really, Robert?
Sorry, I think it's a compliment.
Because you are the sweetest man I have ever met.
When you married
Homie is on to your cheating ass.
Go on living like this. It's time you tell them about us.
Robert is not a very smart man. You think they'd be smarter about things like tech, considering that he runs a tech company that people might listen in on microphones?
Great, let's hear it.
Some of us are too young to date. Dating is so heteronormative. 1 limo, 5 stops.
Okay. So
Stop.
we figured out.
Oh, guess who's gonna come in and help you with your tie? These bonding moments.
Let me give you a hand.
I got this. I don't need you.
Woo! Saucy.
I know too much.
Gonna go with my tie all jacked up and everything because I'm mad.
Nico? I might have overreacted when I found you two together.
It was a pretty normal parental reaction to seeing your daughter straddled on a boy. The salt is real!
We're here.
What a great cameo!
Hey, I think I saw a Kardashian. Definitely recognized a butt. The red carpet is just another commodification of the so-called beauty industry and fashion designers who exploit
Man, the stares these kids are cutting their parents, man. They are oblivious.
Frank, do you mind if I steal your wife? Just for a moment.
This...
There's somebody I'd like to meet, and...
Serum fail? Is the serum failing?
Get out.
So that's why he got the serum. He saw the glow sex. Ew. God, I want that erased too. Well, damn.
You really want to know how a hypervisor delineates between a physical server and a virtual one?
Not really.
If you did, that's kind of hot.
Nerd love.
I'll call you right back.
Star Wars.
Oh, weird.
I see what you guys did there. Disney does seem to have a way of just getting all their plugs in one show.
Reckless, and it makes some bad decisions and drinks some truly terrible.
Whoa, girl!
No!
Of course she flies.
But of all the people here, I would most like to thank my husband, Robert.
Is Daddy gonna snap? Oh, please let Victor snap.
To Wizard.
Do it, Vic. Lose it.
Oh.
And I think Victor Stein would like to say something.
No.
One of the
Well,
world's
yeah.
most brilliant minds. Founder of Nemo. A true...
Save your breath, Tina. Everyone knows I'm a genius. Although, here's a question. My superior intellect is of no help that my wife is sleeping with another man.
Yeah.
Any of you know how easy it is to hack a cell phone? You'd think that the man she's banging would.
You think?
After all, he helped create the phone. Isn't that right,
Robert?
Robert.
Oh, zing!
I've got you, Dad.
Oh, no. Grandpapa Daddy is displeased.
I told you. Everything's under control.
Oh, yes, clearly. You're running a very tight ship.
Wow, the condescension. Isn't that sexy?
It's an experimental immunotherapy developed from the DNA of someone with an extraordinary immune system. Works to ride a variety of elements.
Does it glow?
Do you mind?
That looks a lot like heroin to me. I'm just saying. I knew it. It's glowing. Because like I see lights. So many sparkly lights.
Where were the girls like you when I was in high school?
Did you try the theater department or the library?
Come on, you could probably have any guy you wanted, you know? It's like,
Okay, this is crossing into creepy territory. She's a
Okay,
teenager.
now it just got weird.
Thank you.
It just doesn't make sense. Do killers really bawl their eyes out like my mom just did?
Sometimes. They're not always sociopaths.
You heard about her parents? They're having an affair.
What? My mom and your dad?
No, my mom and...
Oh my god. And my mom?
No, my mom, your dad.
There's too many factors.
Got a new lease on life and a beautiful wife who loves me. What more could a man want?
So everything okay with you guys?
Huh?
I have no idea.
Right. That was great. I have no idea. Your daddy's crazy.
There's nothing, I swear. I just want to know about my parents. I didn't see a thing.
What did you just say?
Nothing.
She's this age.
Some weird robes. Must have been a party. I don't know. Everything all right over here?
Great, Molly. Way to go. Oh, Molly, Molly, Molly. Gert, come get your girl. Stop chasing tail. Come get your girl. Well, that was episode 6, which was called Metamorphosis. And wow, the plot just keeps getting thicker and thicker and messier for this group, doesn't it? Well, this episode was definitely more the soapy form. This is kind of where I feel the soapy side of this show kind of come out. But it makes for, the show to be a little more interesting. And in a show like this that, again, does not have that super huge effects budget that some of the other Marvel shows has, they definitely need to make sure that these characters are layered and interesting and obviously have some pretty cool, interesting things happening in their lives. And so we saw a little bit more of that in this whole episode of trying to get these videos, this evidence that the Pride has been indeed taking these kids and sacrificing them, or causing their metamorphosis into pure energy. Fancy word for killing is all that is. So, a couple of key highlights that I picked up from this episode. The staff. So about 2 episodes ago, was it? No, last episode. We heard Nico say to her mom that, oh, I thought this was an old relic. The wand was an old relic that her grandmother had passed on to her. But the mom said, oh, your grandmother never gave me anything. And so I was like, well, that kind of confused me, because I was like, is she just saying that like she's resentful of the grandmother because she didn't teach her anything, or is this was something that the grandmother didn't want to leave to her but had to because she died? But now we know it's because it didn't exist before. Tina created it at Wiz Labs, and she made it to work only with her DNA. But of course, as I said, DNA, as I said in the episode, DNA is not an exact science even these days. So apparently Nico has enough of her mom's DNA that the staff cannot differentiate between her or her mom. But I just thought that was very interesting that her mom created that staff. So it's kind of becoming more clear in this episode why the people in the Pride were chosen. Because in the first couple of episodes, it was kind of hard to figure out like why this group was, the Pride. Like, were they just lifelong friends? Was it just the thing where they just all got some coincidental, like, were they just the ones that were, susceptible enough to the money that was being offered? All those types of things. But now we're realizing that each of these people have a certain role to play, that the grandpappy, I should have wrote down his name, I'm sorry, but Dr. Doom, that's what we're going to call him for now. He clearly needs certain things from all of them skill sets, and it's becoming clearer with every episode what skill set each parent has to offer. In the case of the Yorkses, they're bioengineers and they've got medical expertise. So, the fact that whatever, I'm not sure why yet, outside of, actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what their testing and their knowledge is going to do to help them. Victor obviously is the one who's maintaining whatever that matter dematerializer, aka the Chamber of Secrets. He's the one who's maintaining that and tweaking it and making it better. And then of course the Manurus are the tech, the tech that they need, the surveillance, all the other things like that. So they're all kind of fitting together into this puzzle that I'm starting to understand now as to why this particular group was chosen. Another thing that's becoming abundantly clear is a big issue with the group of kids, is that these kids do not talk to each other. It's so frustrating. Like, there's so much, even though they all are somewhat on the same page of that their parents need to be stopped, they don't talk to each other. There's not this open communication. They're all still kind of in their own little sects and groups and subgroups within the group. And because of that, they're not openly communicating with one another. And things that probably would not, like a lot of miscommunications could have been dealt with if they would just have this open conversation, jealousy and thirstiness aside, just actually talk to each other. And that became so apparent in this episode, particularly when it came to, just all the things like Chase should be able to feel like he can tell them that his father's got brain cancer. Nico should be able to tell them that their mother teaching her how to use the staff is helpful. Like, all these things that we know as an audience are very good and not good, but that need to be happening. But they're not talking about it within their group, which is why whenever Alex comes forth with a plan or, presents something, we've got this kind of hemming and hawing and dissension in the group, and it's just gonna it's gonna weaken their overall strength, you know, to come up against their parents. Because if there's nothing else within the Pride, even though we've got the Yorkses that are definitely teetering on the edge, there is a sense of unity. And as long as they're together, those kids aren't going to stand a chance if they try to bring anything up against them. So yeah, I just hope that before the end of the season, I mean, we're getting pretty far in here, but I'm hoping they get to a point where they start to gel communication-wise and kind of stop this whole not saying this to this person and keeping that from that. You know, Molly put it very succinctly at the end where she was just like, we need to stop having secrets. We need to start being open or this is just not going to work. So hopefully we'll get to see that. And I'm glad towards the end there when they all, well, most of them got together, that Chase didn't even hide the whole thing about Carolyn. He's like, yeah, she can fly, by the way. Just a new development. Like, I want that to be their communication going forward, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to keep going as a group and not end up splintering before they even get to the point of exposing their parents. I need to figure out what's going on with this Kincaid guy, by the way, the bearded guy with the tats. They've made a point to show his big spider tat like twice now. The first time he showed up on screen, and now again they made sure to zoom in on that spider tat on his hand. So I don't know what significance he has. There has to be. I mean, this show does not give us anything that's random, so I'm trying to figure out why Kincaid's important. But hey guys, if you know the story behind Kincaid, please let me know who he is or who I can start to look for, because yeah, I'm trying to figure out why the show's trying to show him to us, because twice now they've made a point of giving him lines, giving him screen time, giving him face time, and of course that tattoo, particularly the spider tattoo, it does look like the Spider-Man spider. I did notice that, but again, why? What's his purpose? So please leave the comments below if you can let me have a little info on that situation. I'm really getting over the whole thing with Leslie. She is such, like, I think out of all of these characters, she's probably the one of the ones I feel the least empathy for. She's just so contented to use and abuse people. And I get it, like, I mean, she's never been a good person, so to speak, but I think in the first couple episodes I was wondering if maybe she really was feeling some semblance of conscience over all the terrible things that were happening as far as these kids, you know, being used. But the fact that she sat there and is like, I mean, obviously she did not want Dr. Doom to actually show his face and to be intermingling with her family. The fact that she's kind of sitting back and letting him mess with Frank, which is just, in my opinion, unnecessary. I mean, clearly they've already messed with Frank, and oh my god, huge revelation as to why we finally know the real reason why Frank was given the serum. I thought maybe he was against the whole Pride thing, but it wasn't that. It's that he discovered the fact that his wife was cheating on him and having glow sex with whoever the hell she's told him this guy was. And they didn't want it getting out, because it seems like the Pride has no idea what the Deans, well, at least Carolina and her grandfather daddy, really are, which is huge. That's a huge secret to be keeping from the group. So yeah, it looks like poor Frank walked in on that, saw it, and they used the serum as a way to make him forget what he saw, and then just decided not to even bring him back into Pride again, because I guess, well, maybe they didn't expect him to lose everything. Like, maybe they just hoped he would just lose that imagery, and God knows I'd want to lose it. But it looks like potentially he forgot even joining Pride in the first place. So interesting. But one of the big things that we learned too is that the serum is not foolproof, because he just seeing you know, Dr. Doom again was enough for him to be like, holy crap, I remember you and I remember what I saw. So I'm very interested to see what Frank does with this. Like, he clearly did not, you know, he didn't try to start a fight with him. He didn't try to confront Leslie yet about it. And I get the sense he's not planning on letting anyone know that he remembers just yet, because I feel like he's going to try to put together why he didn't remember that memory until now. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's already figured out that there's a lot of things that don't add up in his life. And this is going to be a huge puzzle piece in the way of him knowing that, okay, something happened, I need to figure out what that is. But I do think that Frank's gonna become an ally of the kids in some way. Like, maybe not directly, but at some point I think he might figure out what the kids are up to and actually become an ally for them, because he's been wronged in this whole situation as well, and he'll probably have a vested interest in seeing the Pride go down. Interesting moment with the whole drama around the parents, you know, Victor admitting that he knows about the affair. last episode, or it would have been last episode, we saw that he noticed that, the little hand touch that happened between the two of them, and I knew that that wasn't a throwaway scene, that clearly it was going to be followed up, and now we see that it was followed up by Victor hacking their phones, which honestly, it blows my mind. Like, hello? Of all people, Robert should have been very conscientious of the fact that their phones could be hacked. I mean, it's especially by a tech genius like Victor. It was a cute little drama moment, the little bit of Ratchet in me kind of enjoyed seeing that little scene go down. I kind of wish it had been messier, to be perfectly honest, but yeah, it was very interesting to see how that all kind of went down. As Dr. Doom brought out, the dynamic in the group is very fragile, and he's picking up on that, and he thinks that he needs to stick around. Of course, he's saying to Leslie it's because the dynamics of the group are weak, but the reality is he's jealous. We can see it. He does not like the fact that Leslie's out there living her life with their daughter, with the Pride, and with her husband, Frank, and he's kind of left on the outskirts of things. It'll be interesting to see what happens now that he wants to reinsert himself in the Pride. I feel like we're going to get a better idea of exactly what he and Carolina are, what the depths or the breadth of their power is, because so far everything we've seen from Carolina has been very benign as far as her powers. Yes, she can sparkle. Even when she shot the sparkles from her hands, it didn't seem to hurt the targets. It just kind of blinded them. It looks like it was just kind of like a rush of energy and light. And then now we know that she can fly, or at least levitate if necessary. But I'm wondering whether or not what she can do can be used offensively in any way. And I feel like if we're going to figure that out, it's going to be through Dr. Doom. Side note, cameo by Stan Lee. That was pretty awesome. I didn't think we were going to get one for this series. I'm going to be completely 100. Stan definitely tries to be a part of everything, but he's definitely missed out on a handful of shows that have come on for Marvel. But I'm glad he made that cameo. It was cute. It was so natural. I loved it. I loved it. I love Stan. I just want him to cameo as long as he possibly can, because I will always enjoy it and scream like a little schoolgirl. And finally, we come to Molly, Miss Malls. Little Miss Molly, I want to be frustrated with her about the whole thing, about blowing the kids' cover. Well, at least at this point, I wouldn't say it's the kids. It looks like Molly's the only one who had an incriminating piece of evidence. She's the only one admitted to going into the den. So at this point, she's really the only one who's kind of in direct danger of the wrath of all of this. A part of me wanted to be like, oh, Molly, how could you? But it's kind of like I do feel badly for Molly. One thing that has been kind of a theme since episode 1 is that Molly's kind of ignored. Maybe it's because she's supposed to be a couple years younger than the other kids that are in this group, and she's not involved with any of the drama as far as thirst towards somebody else, and she's not up in everybody's face, so to speak. I think she just kind of gets forgotten about, and there's a lot of things going on with Molly. Like, her parents died and she has no idea about the circumstances around it. Like, all these other kids are dealing with how much they can't stand these people, but Molly's parents, who were part of this group, are the only ones that are no longer here. So no one really is, even Gert, which is very frustrating. She isn't really looking to see that Molly's kind of struggling right now. But I don't think, we haven't seen Gert, at least on screen, sit Molly down and talk to her about it. Like, how do you feel about these powers? Are you curious about where it came from? Like, do you wonder if your parents had it? Like, these are just things that Molly doesn't have a very big audience to talk to people about. And sadly, no one in the group seems to be even remotely interested in her enough to even check in on how she's doing. And I mean, I get it. These are teenagers. Teenagers are incredibly self-absorbed, and they're very rarely aware of what's going on around them, but it just is very sad. And we kind of saw it come to a head in this episode where she's desperate for information about her parents. And she, in her mind, is thinking, okay, if we expose these people and they all go to jail, first of all, it'll probably be super hard to get access to them, as she mentioned, but also, how willing are these people going to be to talk to her about anything if they're already in prison? Right? She's probably thinking, once these people are in jail, they're not going to want to tell me about my parents. They're going to want to spite me and keep that to themselves. So I get it. Molly acted out of desperation and out of, the mind of a 14, 15-year-old girl who just does not have the breadth to understand that what she was doing was going to make her seem suspicious Obviously, Mama Wilder is probably going to try to talk to her parents, the Yorkses, and try to convince them to somehow, you know, give Molly up or give Molly the serum. So we're going to see the tension in the adult part of the Pride get a lot thicker with this whole revelation of that fact that Molly might know something. I'm hoping that Gert, of all people, because she's really annoying me with just the fact that she's so super focused on this thirst for Chase, who's not like, girl. I get it. You like the guy. He's attractive. He's all those things, but she cannot be so blind as to notice that he's just not feeling her like that. He's just not feeling it. She knows that he's into Carolina. And I get it. It sucks and it hurts as a teenager, but man, can you just focus on something else for a while, girl? Like, it just, her thirst is making her so just unlikable at the moment. And it's sad because I like the idea of a smart, feminist, strong character who's, you know, has a lot of self-belief, but unfortunately for her, because it's not true and because she doesn't really believe it, it just feels preachy and mean and catty. And that's, you know, not ideal, right? So I'd rather she just kind of drop the whole thirst for Chase, at least for a while, and really focus her attention on her sister, who's struggling right now. What did you guys think of this episode? Please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear what you're thinking, how you feel the show's going so far. And do you agree with me about Molly? Do you feel like she's becoming the poor forgotten kid in this whole situation? Please let me know. And if you like this video, guys, please go ahead and click like. And if you want to see more from Miss Geeky Face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya.